I have an issue, and I need to address. Like, hold on, let me turn this down. Think I need to address it immediately. I can't take hearing it anymore, and I didn't feel like typing. So I said, I'm gonna do something out of the ordinary and make this fit. Yo, artists need to start taking responsibility for themselves. Stop passing the blame on the engineer and the producer and the recording engineer. Let me break that down too. There's a difference between a recording engineer, a mix engineer, and a producer. They have some people who do all three, fine and dandy. Me personally, people that know me, I am a mix engineer. I do all three, but I'm a mix engineer first. So you'll take it to somebody, or you record at one studio, you send it to me, I mix it and send it off to you. You now take it to get mastered. Granted, do I record? Of course I record. But mix engineer, that's what I'm known for. That's my claim to fame. Right. But I also produce. So I do all three. So if you had to break me down, it would be mix engineer first, recording engineer next, producer last. Alright. Now this isn't to anybody directly. But if it connects to you, then be my guest and hold on to it. If the shoe fits, you know the rest. Artists need to start taking responsibility for self. Stop passing the blame and the buck on the engineer. For instance, I see a lot of artists complaining, oh, it was the engineer, he didn't know what he was doing. It never sounded right to begin with. So my thing is, from the time you start saying that, then either you have a mental issue or you just like spending bread. Because if it wasn't sounding right to begin with, then why continue? You should have stopped it because it's your money. Right? That would be my first thought. Like, I know if it was me and I'm spending my money on something, like if I'm buying a Benz and the passenger side is all nice, but the driver's side is all crashed in, I'm either not going to buy it, or I need a different price than the price that's on the tag if I feel like it's too expensive. Same thing. Now, here's the thing. You go to an engineer who's in the business, let's just say 30 odd years. He has hundreds of hits under his belt before you. He's had hits after you. When I say you, I mean the artist. And for some reason, when you play your record compared to other people's record, you're not getting the same reaction. Why put the blame on the engineer? Why don't you say to yourself, maybe it's me. Maybe, I'm not as good as I think. Which I see it all the time. Artists act like engineers are magicians. So here it is, you bring this crashed, folded car, and you expect me now to stretch it out and put it back to being the car it was when it first came out the factory door. That is impossible. That cannot happen. It's better off you start with that factory car. Do you understand what I'm saying? If the engineer is constantly telling you, yo, you're falling off key, you're falling off key, you're falling off key, you're falling off key, then maybe you have a problem with pitch or what have you. Auto-tune cannot save your life. Let's just get that out of the way too. And all these auto-tune, Anybody that knows me and work with me, do not come to me and ask me, yo, do I have autotune? One or two things are going to happen. I'm just going to say no, or I'm going to hang up on you. Because from the time you answer me that, I know 90% of the time, 98% of the time, when somebody, that's the first thing that they ask me, yo, you have autotune, means you're not that good and you're going to rely on the software to make you sound good. And I don't want to be attached to that. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, you have engineers out there that would take the work knowing that, you know what I mean, you're not up to par, but at the end of the day, the engineer's job is to record what you bring, and the mix engineer's job is to accentuate what was recorded. And the mastering engineer's job is to make sure that it's on, the same level, volume level for, the standard for radio play. Where in that equation do you see, the engineer is going to make me sound great? No. You need to sound great first, and then let us do what we do. Like I said, this isn't an attack on anybody in particular. And this isn't like, I have the problem or whatever. I'm sure it's been said plenty of times towards me also. But I'm just tired of hearing it. I see it on, on Facebook, on YouTube, on all these, you put it out on all these social medias. But at the end of the day, then why put it out? If you didn't think it was up to par, why put it out? If you didn't think it was up to par while you were there, then why continue? Why didn't you stop it? Why didn't you ask a question? Hey, listen, thing like, hey, this is not really sounding the way I thought it was. Like, what's the problem? And let the engineer tell you to your face, yo, it's you. Because at the end of the day, this is what I don't get. You want to complain, but it's your bread. It's your money. So you rather waste a buck. So you're telling everybody, yo, I got money like that. I could waste bread. I spend whatever, $500, whatever, on a couple hours of studio time. For what reason? For the sake of saying that you're in the studio? No. And you sound crazy to the people when they hear it on these social medias and you're blaming the engineer. Why put it out? Just take the blame and just stop. Take the blame. If you need to take vocal lessons, there's nothing wrong with that. The best in the business right now still take vocal lessons. Mary J. Blige still takes vocal lessons. Aretha Franklin takes vocal lessons. Aretha Franklin, as old as she is, just went to college to go get her music degree. At whatever age she is now. Because that's somebody who understands, listen, I need to make myself better. Always striving to be better. A lot of you artists complain, oh, no, I'm good. And that's another bad habit you artists have. You get in the studio and the engineer is trying to tell you, yo, that's not it. Let's do it again. And then you're getting frustrated. Yo, just record it, man. Yo, that's how it's supposed to be. Fine. It's your money. And not a lot of engineers have that type of patience to say, okay, listen, it's really not that good. If you constantly fighting against the engineer and this is an engineer that knows what he's doing, keep in mind, this is the engineer with 30 years of experience and hits under its belt, and you're still saying you know what's right over that engineer who has the hits and you don't have anything. Like, there's nothing. If you're in the game, so okay, it works for these kind of artists too. Here's an engineer, 30 years in the game. You as the artist are 15, 20 years in the game, but yet you don't have a hit, or you don't have any song, because you don't necessarily have to be a hit, but you don't have any song that you can be recognized by, then maybe it is you. Maybe it is you're not as good as you think you are. Maybe you got a little bit too complacent of where you are. Sometimes you need to change the friends you're around that keep telling you, yo, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot. Because your friends are obviously lying to you. That's the God honest truth. If you're in the game 15, 20 years and nobody can't say, yo, oh yeah, that's such and such, and yo, you remember the song he had, or if nobody outside of your friend network could do that, then it's an issue that you need to look into and start saying, yo, you know what? It's not the engineer. Because within 15, 20 years, I'm more sure you're not going to the same engineer over and over again. If, you between 15, 20 years, you had to at least see, at the very least, 5 different engineers work out of 5 different studios. So all 5 engineers, all 5 studios weren't the right sound, weren't good enough for you, but they were good enough for everybody else. That's the problem. So keep it short. I didn't want to make it long. I just needed to get this point across. Artists start taking responsibility for yourselves. Because at the end of the day, it all lies back on yourself. When people hear the record, nobody's going to say, yo, yeah, you're right, it was the engineer. No, they're going to say, no, yo, it was you, man. Like, why didn't you stop it if the engineer wasn't that good? Why'd you go back? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, this your boy, Big Bass Reds, engineer extraordinaire. Peace, I'm out.